The topic of my presentation was my ancestors' kitchen. For anyone that knows me, I've been doing work in food sovereignty and addressing food insecurity through a program called Slow Cooked Dreams. And just most recently has started a new project called My Ancestors' Kitchen. It's a two-eyed approach to addressing food sovereignty. And this is my family, my wonderful inspirations in life, my baby, who's 6'1" there, just graduating from high school. My middle daughter just graduated from university at Carleton and started her job with the minister as a special advisor. And my middle daughter, Becca, and my granddaughter, Gigi. So this is my program here, Slow Cooked Dreams. It was a dream to reality. It was kind of a program that started through a personal circumstance that had turned into an empowerment program, and started bringing it to communities all across Nova Scotia. And these are one of the groups that I brought it to back home. The Slow Cooked Dreams program is based on slow cooked recipes that are used in a crock pot, and just bringing people together to prep together, to laugh together, to talk together, to share together, and just bring that good feeling of eating together again. And so I started to introduce a new program, which is with the youth, and this is actually with the youth in Membertou. Doing the same program where they food prep together and they talk, and we talk about food and we talk about different vegetables and vegetables in season. And so when I started this new project, The Ancestors' Kitchen, I was looking at it from the wrong perspective. As a Mi'kmaq woman, from Indigenous background, I was looking at all the vegetables and all the foods that were an introduced diet, an introduced colonial food system that wasn't traditional in my own culture. And even looking at the Indigenous Food Guide, which is still a little blurry here, it's still introducing some foreign foods that still weren't in our own traditional diets. So we had started to visit different communities and started to ask our elders, what does food sovereignty mean to you? What does Indigenous food sovereignty and our traditional food systems look like to you? And how could you teach me? We had done a program here where we were teaching youth, and we built a greenhouse. And one of the programs we did with the youth here, where they started their own garden program for 10 months, they started it from scratch, and they did the whole activity of maintaining the garden right up until harvest time, and each child that had participated in the program got to fill baskets, these huge baskets here full of food, and they got to take fresh vegetables home to their families that they had worked on for the whole 10 months of the year. And just comparing the food that you get that's packaged in the grocery stores, that's imported, that's packaged, and they're chemically influenced, compared to the last slide that you just seen of just freshly picked vegetables, just the difference of color and texture. Going back to the Ancestors' Kitchen, is the elders had said that our traditional foods, our kitchen is right around us. For us to think of food only being available in the grocery stores or what can be brought to us, we forget that the food is all around us. My ancestors' kitchen was the forest behind me, was the waters in front of me, is the skies above me, and the animals that walk the earth. So I started to do different workshops since the beginning of last summer, and one of these was jams. It was medicine wheel inspired jams. So here we were doing strawberry rhubarb jam. Never made jam before in my life, and had asked one of the elders, how do you make strawberry jam? And they said, well, we as Mi'kmaq would mix different things together that were in season that had medicinal purposes. So strawberry and rhubarb grew up at the same time. So we made 50 jars of strawberry rhubarb jam, and we had given it out to elders in our communities. And once the bottles were gone, we just didn't make any more because the strawberries and the rhubarb were out of season. And then we moved into the next season. So we got into making blueberry jam, and we had mixed it with thyme. And we made blueberry thyme jam. So this hands-on teaching when food cycles, when food was in season, and reteaching our people about the cycles of food instead of going to supermarkets and learning about there is no cycle in the grocery store. They can import it from any country, anywhere in the world, and teaches us that food isn't in season, it's available on a whim. My greatest teacher, and you would have seen her today in the cafeteria, this is my new Gigi, my granddaughter Gigi, and she's always welcome in my kitchen. She is probably my best co-pilot, the mini chef, and this is her going out, and she does everything with me since Slow Cook Dreams started. She's just 3.5 years old. She's picking blackberries in the backyard of her great-grandfather's house, and she had made blackberry jam with my father that my father had learned from his grandmother, so it was an old recipe. And this is her with her mom, and we were out clam digging. Again, I had never dug for clams before, and I'm not quite sure if I did it right, but Google said if you see bubbles, that's where the clams are. Sometimes Google grandma is just as good, right? So, and this is her out with her grandpa, and they were out fishing, and she was so devastated by when we were fishing and bringing in the fish and bringing it on its hook and taking it off, and she was like, no, you're hurting Nemo. No, put Nemo back. So we had to put the fish back. So if we were taking her back 100 years ago, our family would starve. Yes. And here, she said, Juju, when I was making my presentation this morning, 9:30 this morning, as I was emailing it off to Mark there, she said, Juju, what are you doing? I said, I'm making a presentation on food sovereignty and talking about this new project, Juju's project called My Ancestors' Kitchen. And she says, well, where's your kitchen, Juju? I said, right here. So that was at our backyard yesterday morning in the forest, and going out to pick fiddleheads and bringing them in and cooking them with our supper last night. So, wow, that was really quick. So, yeah, thank you so much.